Here's the story. I've got 4 kids, and I got 7 beautiful grandchildren. And I believe that all of us have a moral responsibility to have the United States work with countries all over the world in making sure that the planet that we leave our children and our grandchildren is a planet that is healthy and a planet that is habitable. That's just the simple truth. That's a moral responsibility. And as Senator Merkley just mentioned, the debate is over. I'm on the Environmental Committee. I'm on the Energy Committee. I've talked to scientists all over the world. And the conclusion is climate change is real. Climate change is caused by human activity. Climate change today is already causing devastating problems in our country and around the world. And unless we move aggressively to transform our energy system away from fossil fuel into energy efficiency, into sustainable energy, the planet that we're going to be leaving our kids is something that we should be ashamed of. We do not have the moral responsibility to leave our kids a planet that is unhealthy and in some cases uninhabitable. And what the CIA and the Department of Defense tells us, that unless we get a handle on climate change, what you're going to see all over the world are peoples struggling over limited natural resources, clean water, land to grow their crops, and you're going to see more international conflict and more war and more death. This is a major, major, major planetary crisis, and we in the United States have got to lead the world, working with China, working with Russia, working with India, to transform our energy system. Now, obviously, given my political views, it is not a surprise that I disagree with Republicans on most issues. Not a surprise. But there is something special about this issue, and it speaks to the corruption of our campaign finance system. Republicans don't argue about the science regarding cancer or diabetes or heart disease. They look at the same evidence that all of us do and support good science. But somehow, when it comes to climate change, there are massive attacks on scientists who tell us the truth about climate change. And here is the political reality. That if Republicans today stand up and say, you know, I've listened to the scientists, I've read the reports, and climate change is real and we've got to do something about it. You know what happens the next day? Their funding from the Koch brothers and from other fossil fuel industries get cut, and they're going to be primaried in a Republican primary. And what I say to my Republican colleagues who reject the science, who refuse to work with us to aggressively transform our energy system, I say, worry less about your campaign contributions, worry more about your children and your grandchildren. So if we are serious about moving aggressively with the rest of the world, we have got to lead. And that says, as Senator Merkley has said so well, that we do not continue to extract fossil fuel from federally owned land. You can't talk the talk and say, I'm concerned about climate change, and then at the same time, oh, by the way, we're going to extract huge amounts of oil or coal or gas from federal land. You can't do that. But also what we have got to do is to understand that workers in the fossil fuel industry, through no fault of their own, they're just trying to make a living, are producing a product which is endangering our planet. And we have the moral responsibility to make sure that as we transition away from fossil fuels to energy efficiency and sustainable energy, these workers are protected. I know Senator Merkley feels that strongly, and I do. Many other members of Congress do. We will soon be introducing legislation to, in a sense, make these workers protected. And that will mean educational opportunities, that will mean job training opportunities, and we will protect them. We are not going to let them fall by the wayside as we go forward to protect the planet. So last point, Senator Merkley is absolutely right. Around here in D.C., on the Capitol, We are taking on the Koch brothers and some of the most powerful political forces in the world who are more concerned about short-term profits than they are about the future of this planet. But at the end of the day, as is the case in every other area of change, whether it's civil rights, whether it's women's rights, whether it's gay rights, the only way that real change takes place is when millions of people come together and stand up and say, you know what, that United States Congress is going to have to work for all of us and not just for the people who own the fossil fuel industry. Thank you very much.